Well, it looks like Lee Westwood, Ian Poulter, and Sergio Garcia are pulling out of the European Tour faster than a golfer can shout fore. They're off to the breakaway LIV Golf circuit for good, backed by the Saudis. I guess it's true what they say. Money talks and golfers walk. Get ready to buckle up and stay put because we're about to dive into the latest DP World Tour and Ryder Cup drama. Hold on to your hats, folks. It's going to be a wild ride. Lee Westwood has taken a swing at the European Tour, claiming they're snuggling up to the US PGA Tour like a couple of lovebirds. He's even suggested that the European Tour is now just a mere appetizer for American golf. To add to the drama, Westwood has teamed up with Ryder Cup pals Ian Poulter and Sergio Garcia to give the European Tour a big thumbs down. They've given their resignations like a bunch of employees walking out of a poorly run office. Unfortunately, this means they won't be able to represent Europe in the Ryder Cup against the US in Rome later this year. Maybe they'll have to resort to selling hot dogs to the crowds instead. But don't worry, the trio has found a new permanent home in the form of the Saudi-backed LIV Golf circuit. Yep, that's right, they're taking their talents to the desert. Maybe they're hoping to find some oil in the bunkers or ride camels between holes. Either way, they're not afraid to take a risk. Last month, the European Tour felt victorious as they won their legal battle against some rebellious players. These rebels had the nerve to appeal against the punishment the Tour wanted to impose on them for participating in the inaugural LIV event last year. Well, tough luck, rebels. The Tour won and justice was served. Apparently, former world number 1 Westwood, 2017 Masters champion Garcia, and Poulter were among the players who dared to challenge the Tour's authority. These guys have won a combined total of 53 European Tour victories, but that wasn't enough to save them from the Tour's wrath. Maybe they should have spent less time hitting golf balls and more time hitting the law books. In total, 12 players, including Westwood, Poulter, and Richard Bland, appealed against the sanctions that were imposed on them. These players were itching to take part in the LIV Golf inaugural event at the Centurion Club in England in June, but the Tour was having none of it. I can imagine the scene now. The players pleading with the Tour officials, "Please let us play in the LIV event. We promise we won't do it again." But the DP officials were having none of that. "No way, Jose," they said. "You broke the rules and now you have to face the consequences." So apparently these players had some requests that were denied, and they decided to compete anyway. Wrong move, as they were fined a whopping $125,000 and suspended from a few events, including the Scottish Open. Ouch! Lee Westwood, who's known as one of the greatest golfers of all time to have never won one of the 4 major championships, paid the fine and just wants to move on. I don't blame him, but he didn't shy away from criticizing the 2 major golf circuits, the US PGA Tour and Europe's DP World Tour, for being a bit too aggressive in response to LIV Golf's development. Westwood claims to be a dual member of both tours, but he's always been a Euro Tour guy at heart. He even accused the US circuit of being a bunch of bullies who want to dominate the golf world. Yikes! I guess that's what happens when you're used to winning all the time. So this bloke who's been around for 50 years said something like, "Go check my old quotes." He thinks the European Tour has gotten into bed with the PGA Tour and is now acting like a feeder tour. He continued, "The top 10 players on the tour, not already exempt this year, have a pathway to the PGA Tour. That's giving our talent away. That was never the Tour's policy before this strategic alliance. This is a new regime that he's not keen on playing under." He even had nightmares about the Tour hitting him with more fines and bans. So he's paid his fine out of respect, but he's taken his decisions out of the Tour's hands. Westwood and the others are upset that the DP Tour is diluting their pool of players. Now let's be honest, who wants to play in a league that's feeding its top players to another league? It's like training your prized racehorse only to give it away to someone else to race. What's next? We'll be sending our best cricketers to play for the Australians? Rory McIlroy is really good at giving it to those who hopped on the LIV Golf train. He's not a fan of that controversial Saudi Arabian-backed league, but what really grinds his gears is that some of Europe's finest golfers won't be eligible to lead future Ryder Cup teams. Sergio Garcia, Lee Westwood, Ian Poulter, and Richard Bland all waved goodbye to the DP World Tour and said hello to LIV Golf. While it was expected, McIlroy is fuming that this officially takes them out of the running for Ryder Cup captaincy. I mean, come on, McIlroy's probably thinking, who's going to lead Team Europe now? Maybe they'll have to recruit Happy Gilmore. But in all seriousness, it's a shame that Europe will have to find new leaders for their Ryder Cup squad. Hopefully they'll find someone who can rally the troops and lead them to victory. I think it's a shame, right? McIlroy commented after his opening round at the Wells Fargo Championship. I think it's a shame that you've got the highest point score ever in the Ryder Cup and two guys that, when they look back at their career, that's probably going to be at least a big chunk of their legacy, is the roles that they have played in the Ryder Cup for Europe. For those three guys not to captain Europe one day, it's a shame. The DP World Tour is taking their roles as golfing cops seriously. They handed out some severe punishment to players who dared to stray and compete in unauthorized events. Not even the PGA Tour is this strict. But hey, all was not lost for those LIV golfers who want to earn some official World Golf Ranking points. The DP World Tour was one of the last options left for them. Now they'll have to resort to the Asian Tour to earn World Ranking points. So it's time to toe the line and stay on the right side of the golfing law. The DP World Tour was quick to thank the group for their contributions to the tour. The DP World Tour would like to take this opportunity to thank the four players for the contribution they've made to the tour, and in particular to Sergio, Ian, and Lee for the significant part they played in Europe's success in the Ryder Cup over many years, the DP World Tour said in a statement. Their resignations, however, along with the sanctions imposed on them, are a consequence of their own choices. Although these four golfers may not make it to the European team for the Ryder Cup in Rome this fall, they would definitely have made great captain picks in the future. Garcia has scored a whopping 28.5 points in the event. That's more than most people have on their driver's licenses. And Westwood has played on the team 11 times, which is impressive, considering most of us can't even hit a ball straight once. And let's remember Poulter, who has a near-perfect 6-0-1 record in singles matches. That's like winning every round of a game of rock, paper, scissors against your annoying little sibling, except it actually matters. But alas, Luke Donald will lead the European team this year in Rome. He's taking over for Henrik Stenson, who moved to LIV Golf. According to the DP World Tour, that was their choice, and they knew the consequences. Rory McIlroy even said, "Yeah, it's certainly a shame. I mean, who wouldn't want to be on a team with Garcia, Westwood, Poulter, and Stenson? It's like the Avengers of golf." And hey, thanks for watching, and before you go, please be sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and enjoy our other videos.